stand by for the President of the United States.
Hi, Michael.
Great job doing a debate, Mr. President. How you doing?
I'm doing good, man. How you been?
I'm doing wonderful. I was watching the debate with about 800 of your supporters in Philadelphia, and I got to tell you, they were so disappointed with the lack of direct answers from Governor Romney on women's issues. So what is the distinct difference between your policies and Mitt Romney's as it relates to women's equal pay, women's health issues, and reproductive rights?
Well, you just named him. I mean, on equal pay, he can't give a clear answer about legislation that makes sure there's equal pay for equal work. I don't think that's something at this day and age we should be arguing about. If Malia and Sasha, when they grow up, they get a job, I want them paid the same as somebody's son for doing the same job, period.
His expression of, I'll get back to you, as you said during the debate, that's not adequate.
No, that won't cut it. Number two, when it comes to women's health care issues, the fact of the matter is that on issues like us making insurance companies provide contraception to their policyholders, that's something that's not just a women's issue, that's a family issue.
That's right.
I mean, that's hundreds of dollars potentially a month or $1,000 or more over the course of the year that families are having to shell out. And that's something that is very important. And it's also, by the way, something that insurance companies save money on. So for Governor Romney to want to allow employers to make that decision, or politicians in Washington,
I know,
as opposed to women themselves, that doesn't make sense. But the last point I wanted to make, Michael, is in addition to those issues, women, like everybody else, are concerned about the economy. And somebody who promotes a 5-point jobs plan, but what the jobs plan basically comes down to is, I'm going to cut taxes for folks at the very top, tell you later how we're going to pay for it, and roll back regulations on Wall Street and insurance companies that we put in place to protect consumers, that's not a serious jobs plan. So overall, what I tried to do and what I will try to do over the next 3 weeks is to continue to drum home. We can't go back to the same policies that we fought for 4 years to dig our way out of. We got to go forward to put people back to work, rebuild manufacturing, make sure our schools are working, make sure our kids can go to college, making sure that we've got homegrown energy and new energy, not just old energy sources, making sure if we're going to be serious about closing this deficit that we ask the wealthy to pay a little bit more. That's a basic message that I think people can understand, and it builds on the work that we've done over the last 4 years and over 5 million jobs we've created over the last 30 months.
I know the economy is coming back. It's coming back. We started with a very deep hole when you took office. But I know you understand the frustration and impatience of the people who are out of work right now. I just wanted you to speak to those people.
Well, look, there's still a lot of struggle going on out there. And I understand it acutely because every single day I'm talking to folks who want to work, have sent out resumes, are still having challenges. And so what I would say to folks is, number one, the economy is improving, not just on the jobs front, but housing is finally starting to recover, and that's a huge chunk of our economy. We just had got a report today that housing starts were the highest they've been in a very long time. And so, number one, we're going to keep growing the economy. Number two, we're going to make sure that folks who are out of work but don't have the skills to get the jobs that are out there right now, that you've got an opportunity to retrain at a community college for jobs that are out there right now. And I would advise people to work with those community colleges because there's enormous potential there for people to be able to get retrained. And a lot of times what we're trying to do is link up community colleges with the actual businesses that are hiring so that the training programs themselves are designed to help those folks. And that's an example of the kind of strategy. It's concrete, it's practical, and it's going to make a difference. But if Governor Romney gets elected, that's not the strategy that he's going to pursue. He's going to cut slots in our community colleges to make sure that our folks get retrained. And that would be the wrong way to go.
Last question for you, Mr. President. Why is it important for you to win, and are you going to win this election?
I'm going to win this election because I've fought too hard, and we as a country have fought too hard, coming back from the worst crisis since the Great Depression to turn back now. And that's why every single one of your listeners, Michael, I need them to vote. I know that back in 2008, everything was exciting and new, and this was a first and all that. The way change happens, it happens in steady progressions. It happens because you put your shoulder behind the wheel. And over time, you can look back and say, you know what, all that stuff we've done has made a difference.
That's right.
And we're only halfway through this thing. I need a second term to get the job done, to make the economy stronger, to make sure our kids are getting a great education, to make sure that manufacturing is locating in communities that have been hollowed out when jobs were shipped out overseas, make sure that our health care plan continues to get implemented so that millions of folks are able to have the security of knowing they can get health care and have a doctor who can actually treat them on a regular basis. So all those things are at stake, and I need everybody to finish strong. So if people don't know where they can vote, how they can vote, whether they can still register to vote, whether they can early vote, just go to gottavote.com. That's GOTTA vote.com. And, there's some states like Ohio and Iowa where you can already start early voting. Early voting in Nevada starts on October 20th. Florida, North Carolina, there's early voting as well. And this is really going to make a difference because in North Carolina, for example, we only won that state by 14,000 votes. That's about 5 votes per precinct.
Wow.
5 votes per precinct. That means you grab your cousin, your buddy, and a couple of guys, in front of the corner store, you might have just tipped that precinct in Obama's direction.
How about that?
And it'll make a difference in your life.
I don't know when I'm going to speak to you again, so I'm going to tell you something I haven't had a chance to tell you. I didn't have a chance to tell you at Tyler Perry's place at the fundraiser. I extended my contract through this year because of this election. My contract was up a couple of years ago, and I said extend me through the election because I knew that every voice and every vote would count in this election. So I wanted you to know I'm inspired by your accomplishments, how you carried yourself and represented our country, and I'm looking forward to getting out there and fighting with you to get the job done that we started.
Well, Michael, I'm proud to have your support. That means a lot to me. But I got to say, you're too young to retire, man. So you're going to have to, and all your listeners are going to want to hear you. So talk to you soon. Make sure to pump up the vote.
Thank you, sir.
Bye-bye.